most of the people listening to this probably are healthy. They probably don't have a current injury, hopefully. And
Hmm.
so let's just say a person's generally healthy and wants to take your advice. Where do they start? What do you recommend for a person to get started to have a mobility routine? How often and what types of exercise?
I like the mobility routines. They don't have to be perfect, but a little bit of structure goes a long way. I like to think of your ball and socket joint. Your hip is probably most important if you're going to do anything. A good mobile set of hips in the acetabulum, where your femur meets your pelvis, takes a lot of pressure and stress off the knee, a lot of pressure and stress off the ankle, and in the lower back. Kind of everything above and below a really mobile set of hips benefits. So that's where you'd want to really focus. And the way I do that myself and the way I recommend others do it, if you have any kind of a workout routine, you just close out with about I'd say over 3 minutes on each leg. So if you're doing like a straddle stretch, hey, it could just be 5 minutes right there. Hit straddle. If you're doing more of like a lizard pose, basically like a deep lunge, I kind of think of big directional patterns. So we either have a frontal or sagittal plane we'd be focusing in on. It's fun to think, well, if I just put in my 3 to 10 minutes after my workouts on this, I'm on the trajectory toward being able to do the splits. That's the trajectory. You only have to gain a degree every month or so, but if you're just working on your mobility all the time, then you'll get there. So a couple simple ways to format that. I have mobility room here in the clinic, so if I have time in between patients or whatever, I'll just drop into one of these positions for one song, and that'll do it. Anything over 2 minutes is long enough to actually create a change in tissue length when it comes to those tendinous insertions, and that's really important to keep in mind. I don't know where the rationale for stretch for 30 seconds aside really hard came from, but I don't see it supported in the literature. What's far more relevant and far more useful is just to get into about a 4 out of 10 discomfort. So you're still pretty darn comfortable. You can feel the tissues working around the hip, and camp out. Sit there for at least 2 minutes. And it's okay to move around a little bit. You don't have to be a statue and stuck in that position. But if I was in like that lizard pose, I might have my hands up on my knee. I might be walking out to the side and do whatever I need to do. But just being consistent with a couple small things like that will make a tremendous difference. You'll be able to do the splits in both planes eventually if you're not already behind the 8-ball with your joints breaking down at all. I mean, of course, some people have deeper hip sockets than others, so everybody's not going to get to the same place. But I just like to focus on the trajectory, right? Your finger pointing at the moon, and that's all you have to do. Keep on track and be consistent, and opening up like that just a few days a week, even if it's just 2 days a week, you'd get there. You'd make changes. You won't just be doing the same stretch every time. You'll be doing a different stretch. You'll be getting deeper into it. You'll be getting closer into those splits. So that's the most gratifying, simplest, most effective way I've gone about working with hip mobility.